In this final issue of the epic miniseries, the 100-year-old battle is about to come to an end. The two apex killers have been at it for quite a while, taking their fight to various corners of the world, and now Wolverine will have to be deadlier than the death that the Predator wears. With some top-notch writing and art, I think this is one of the best Predator comics I have read in ages, so without further ado, let's get straight to business. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. False victory. In the last issue, the Predator ambushed Wolverine when he was training with Muramasa, the legendary sword maker of the Marvel Universe. Interestingly, the Master Hunter was wearing a bear skull helmet, and presumably that of the massive bear he had killed at the end of the first issue. Man, that was awesome. The bear first dragged the Predator to its cave only to be killed by the Predator after. So anyway, the Predator was back for two reasons. First, the ugly alien had a massive beef with Wolverine, and second, he wanted his damned helmet back from Wolverine. As has the tradition with the Predator vs. Wolverine comics, we begin in the present day. Wolverine knew the Predator was always on the hunt for him, and the clawed mutant was kinda done with it. He needed to put it behind him once and for all, so now Wolverine was doing the hunting. He staked the Predator helmet in the meadow like a bait station next to a deer stand. He waited there patiently for days and nights, and it was after a whole week that the Predator finally showed up. But the Predator was a master hunter and knew what a trap looked like. Furthermore, he knew that Wolverine was almost equal, if not better, so the Cosmic Hunter was sort of expecting a trap. And that's what Wolverine gave him. He gave the Predator a rudimentary trap just to give him a sense of danger and confidence in avoiding that danger. Wolverine needed to get hit and his blood spilled on the ground because that was the only way to ensure that the Predator would go from confident to overconfident. You see, all creatures, man or beast, makes mistakes when they're overconfident, when they let their guard down. And Wolverine was planning on exploiting this. Furthermore, he let the Predator have his helmet, which gave the Predator a sense of victory. Now, you might wonder why Wolverine did not rig the helmet. I mean, he could have poisoned the air filter or simply planted a small bomb powerful enough to obliterate the Predator's skull, but the thing is, technology had been the Yacht just failing. He surrounded himself with it just like he surrounded himself with trophies, like a boast or compensation, or some shit like that. To feel right about taking the Predator down, Wolverine had to ensure that he had to be deadlier than the death that the Predator wore. And with the Predator laying his hands on its prized possession, the scene shifts to Muramasa's estate. Just a side note, if you want to explore deep dive videos of the previous 3 issues, they are on our channel. Saved by enemies. Seeing the Predator ready to battle, Wolverine asked Muramasa to help. And at the end of the 3rd issue, the Swordmaker had literally said that they would fight together, but when the time actually came, this guy simply ditched his student, saying something about the importance of learning and fighting your own battles. Nevertheless, Wolverine was like, "To hell with you, man. I'll deal with it alone." It was not a battle between the Predator's wrist blades and Wolverine's sword. The mutant was trying to keep his anger and claws sheathed for as long as possible, because that was the whole point of training under Muramasa, trying to become the master assassin by remaining independent of the claws. But Wolverine was finding himself at the losing end. Muramasa noted that the creature had clearly been studying Wolverine's fighting style and martial art. There were clear hints of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Shorin Ryu. To add insult to injury, quite literally in this case, Muramasa went on to say that if Wolverine died, he would forge his soul into a sword, and if the Predator died, his soul would make a worthy substitute for Wolverine's soul. This guy was seriously finding himself entertained as if he were in an action movie. Too bad they did not have popcorn around. The two combatants were exchanging heavy blows against a calm Japanese backdrop, one wrist blade attack here, one katana swing there, then came a shoulder canvas energy blast, and Wolverine was left disarmed. After that, he lost it and was like, "To hell with his sword. I'm gonna get my claws out and whoop this ugly Predator's hunting ass." But he was also pretty scared, you see. In all these years, the Predator was proving to be this one enemy he had failed to take down, and the Predator had done nasty things to our super mutant. So Wolverine gets his sharp adamantium claws out, but to his surprise, the Predator activated his invisibility device and just bailed. Wolverine was super confused about what just happened. He was like, "Dude, come back. We gotta finish this." But the Predator was like, "Nah, another time, mate. But why? Well, the Predator did not come here to fight Wolverine's enemies. You see, Wolverine and Muramasa were greeted by the Hand, an ancient and powerful ninja clan with the ultimate goal of gaining immortality. You may remember the organization from shows like Daredevil, The Defenders, and Iron Fist, so yeah, Logan was practically saved from a certain fate by his enemies. Anyway, Muramasa and Wolverine take care of the mess, but it's not long before the latter faces his foe again, this time in Westchester, and we all know what's at Westchester. Trapped by friends. So, we opened at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Although it was dinner time, Wolverine was on his nightly patrols when he heard a voice in his head. Of course, it was Professor X asking him why he was out. Most students, especially Kitty Pryde and Kurt, were wondering where Wolverine was during dinner, but their conversation was cut short by 3 red dots on Charles' forehead in the shape of a triangle. He left on Charles, saving him from a gruesome death. Wolverine had a long trail of bodies behind him. Most of them were enemies, but some were friends. His skin didn't scar, but his heart sure did. That's why he tried not to get close to anyone. That's why he tried not to call any place home for long, because death always found him. So yeah, Westchester was under attack and 4 missiles struck the upper levels of Xavier's mansion. Colossus came out worried and panicked. Wolverine asks him to take care of the knocked-out professor while he goes to the upper levels to save the students. He guides them downstairs before bumping into Kitty, who was also injured, but the Predator followed and played a rough hand. He attacked Wolverine from behind, zapping him. The Predator was about to strike his weapon into the mutant when Kurt emerged from behind and snagged Wolverine out of the place and to safety. Looking for the Predator in the mansion's hallway, he found the Predator holding Rogue hostage. Wolverine pleads with the Predator not to hurt her and offers himself up, which was quite unlike him, but I guess he just wanted to save his student. Rogue tells him that she could simply take her gloves off and touch the Predator, draining his life force out, but Wolverine forbids her from doing that. Well, he had little to no idea how exactly the Predator would react to any such movements. He could have killed Rogue, so yeah, Wolverine let himself get tied by the Predator, and the two of them walked toward the latter's ship. But wait, this was all a ruse. You see, the alien hunter did not have the right guy. Instead, he was taking away Danny Moonstar, a very powerful mutant who could create 3-dimensional images of certain visual concepts from thoughts and emotional impressions within the minds of herself and others. Next thing we know, the whole gang was there. Rogue, Kitty, Hurt, and the Predator finally learned that he's never to mess with the kids of Xavier's school. Although the hunter somehow managed to escape by activating his invisibility thing, Wolverine knew that all this has to end. He could not risk the lives of innocent kids again. Predator versus Wolverine. And now we're back in the Canadian wilderness. In the last issue, Wolverine had found himself underwater, stuck. He had lured the Predator to a place where it would be just the two of them, and the river was going to be where Logan made his last stand. Logan had realized by now that the Predator depended on heat signatures, and the mud would cloak that, serving as his personal cloaking device. But wait, what's that in the mud? An eye? Wolverine had quite literally given his nemesis a blind eye. You see, he extracted his own eye and placed it in the mud for the Predator to find a distraction. Only Logan can pull off such stunts, and then Logan leapt down on the Predator with the gravity of 100 years of war. He struck his claws into his neck, the green blood spilled. The Predator's shoulder cannon was damaged beyond repair, and actually these guys did not care a lot about repair anyway. If something was broken, they just discard it, which is kind of what they do to their own selves as well. We'll see. The Predator launched another electricity attack which threw Wolverine off his back, and now the battle was once again gonna be between blades. The Predator's ceremonial dagger versus Wolverine's claws. It wasn't about technology anymore, it all came down to the man and his skills, or the alien for that matter. Both combatants were plunging their blades into each other, tasting blood in each other's breaths. But only one of them could heal like it was nobody's business, and the Predator did not want to die on the terms of his nemesis. So, he activated his self-destruct device. Now, Wolverine did not understand the language, but he knew a countdown when he heard one. He tried to bail, but he hadn't watched the first Predator movie and did not know the blast radius was equivalent to 300 city blocks. Wolverine was happy that in those final bloody seconds when the hunt finally ended, the Predator felt a century of disappointment slams into his alien heart. The blast obliterated both parties into pieces, but as I said, only one of them could heal. A few days later, the mutant hero finally pulled himself out of the smoking crater and felt like a lit cigar crushed in an ashtray. At least that's what he said in the comic. But the man found a strange kind of emptiness inside him. Fun fact, they made a typo in the comic. Instead of you, they simply wrote yo. Anyway, so Wolverine was actually kind of upset that the Predator was now dead, that now there would be no one hunting him and making him feel alive. But he kept the Predator's ceremonial dagger as his personal trophy of this 100-year-old battle. Marvelous verdict. Writer Benjamin Percy's script is top-notch, making us see the parallels and stark contrasts between Wolverine and the Predator. Art-wise, Lashley and Fernandez kill it in the present-day scenes. It's dark, it's gory, and oh man, the color work with all that blood is something else. They really push the parental advisory limit here, and Zama's work is spooky, especially with that bone helmet on the Predator. But the Westchester fight featuring Wolverine with Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde drawn by Guidry kinda steals the show with its classic X-Men vibe. Overall, Predator vs. Wolverine #4 is a bloody, brutal end to a wild ride. It's everything we've hoped for and more. And hey, why stop at Wolverine? I'm thinking Spider-Man, or maybe even the likes of Black Widow, Daredevil, and the Punisher should be the next to take on this dreadlocked nightmare. How cool do you think that would be? As always, if you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.